Among the many inhabitants of this dark world, there are ancient predators. They have patrolled these depths for millions of years. These are the deep-sea sharks. They are not like the sharks of the sunlit shallows, such as the great white or the tiger shark. They are different. They are specialists, perfectly adapted to a life of cold, darkness and scarcity. Their bodies are often soft and flabby, a clever adaptation to withstand the immense pressure. Their skin might be thin, and their skeletons less dense than their shallow water cousins. This makes them more buoyant, helping them to float effortlessly in the water column. What truly makes these sharks special is how they have mastered the art of living with so little. In the deep, food can be very hard to find. So these sharks have become incredibly efficient. Many of them have very slow metabolisms. This means they use very little energy. They can go for long periods, perhaps weeks or even months, without eating a single meal. They are masters of patience. They drift slowly and silently through the water, conserving their strength, waiting for the perfect moment, for a scent or a vibration that signals a potential meal has come within their reach. Their senses are also extraordinarily well suited to the darkness. While some deep-sea sharks have very large eyes to capture the faintest glimmers of bioluminescent light, others rely on different senses entirely. They can detect the faint electrical fields given off by the muscles of other living creatures. They can sense tiny vibrations in the water from a struggling fish many meters away. Their sense of smell is legendary, allowing them to follow the scent of a distant meal through the vast, dark water. These are not just hunters. They are highly sophisticated detectives of the deep. These creatures are a vital part of the deep-sea ecosystem. They are the top predators in a world where every scrap of energy is precious. By hunting other animals, they help to keep populations in balance. They also act as the ocean's clean-up crew. Many deep-sea sharks are scavengers, feeding on the carcasses of whales, large fish, and other animals that have died in the waters above and have sunk down to the ocean floor. In this way, they recycle nutrients and ensure that nothing goes to waste in this sparse and challenging environment. They are the silent, unseen guardians of the abyss. If one were to search for the ocean with the greatest abundance of sharks, both in the shallows and in the deep, the evidence points to one vast body of water, the Pacific Ocean. It is the largest and deepest of all the world's oceans, covering about a third of the surface of our planet. Its sheer size is difficult to comprehend. It holds more than half of the free water on Earth. This immense scale provides an incredible variety of habitats, from the sun-drenched coral reefs of the tropics to the cold, dark, and mysterious trenches that plunge down for miles. This diversity of environments is what makes the Pacific such a haven for sharks. In its warm, tropical waters, we find the familiar figures of reef sharks gliding through coral gardens. Further out, in the open ocean, great white sharks and mako sharks hunt for seals and tuna. But it is in the deep Pacific that the true diversity of sharks becomes apparent. The ocean floor here is not flat. It is a dramatic landscape of underwater mountain ranges, vast plateaus, and the deepest trenches on Earth, such as the famous Mariana Trench. Each of these unique features creates a different kind of home for different kinds of sharks. The Pacific Ocean is also home to what is known as the Ring of Fire. This is a long chain of volcanoes and seismically active sites that encircles the ocean basin. This geological activity creates hydrothermal vents on the seafloor. These vents release heat and chemicals, which support unique ecosystems that are independent of the sun's energy. These oases of life in the deep, dark ocean attract many creatures, including some very specialized deep-sea sharks that have adapted to live and hunt in these strange and otherworldly environments. The constant geological activity enriches the water with nutrients. Furthermore, the Pacific Ocean has vast areas of open water that are incredibly productive. Powerful currents move nutrients from the deep up to the surface, a process known as upwelling. This fuels the growth of tiny plankton, which form the base of the entire ocean food web. Where there is plankton, there are small fish. Where there are small fish, there are larger fish and squid. And where there are large fish and squid, there are sharks. The Pacific's unique combination of immense size, varied habitats, and rich food sources makes it the undisputed kingdom of sharks. A perfect home for predators. The Pacific Ocean's supremacy as a shark hotspot is not a matter of chance. It is the result of a perfect combination of factors that have unfolded over millions of years. One of the most important reasons is its age and stability. The Pacific is the oldest of the oceans. This has given life here a very long time to evolve and diversify. Shark lineages have had countless generations to adapt to the specific conditions of the Pacific's many different deep-sea environments. This long, uninterrupted history has allowed for the evolution of a greater number of species than in younger, more geologically active oceans like the Atlantic. The sheer size of the Pacific also plays a crucial role. Its vastness means that there are huge regions that remain relatively untouched by human activity. This provides a refuge for many shark species. Large predators like sharks need a lot of space. They often have large territories and migrate over long distances to find food or to reproduce. The Pacific Ocean provides this space in abundance. It allows for healthy large populations of prey animals to exist, which in turn can support a healthy population of sharks at the top of the food chain. The space allows different species to exist without competing too intensely for the same resources. Another key factor is the Pacific's incredible depth. It is home to the deepest points on our planet. This vertical dimension adds an enormous amount of living space to the ocean. Different species of sharks are adapted to live at different depths. Some prefer the twilight zone, a few hundred meters down. Others are found only on the abyssal plains, thousands of meters below the surface. This layering of habitats from the surface to the deepest trenches allows for a much greater number of species to coexist in the same geographic area. The Pacific is not just a wide ocean, it is a profoundly deep one. Finally, the Pacific Ocean connects to both the cold Arctic and the frigid Southern Ocean. This allows for the movement and mixing of species from different climate zones. Some deep-sea sharks are found across the globe, and the Pacific acts as a central highway, connecting different populations. The currents that flow through it carry nutrients and larvae over vast distances, seeding new areas and supporting life throughout the basin. This connectivity, combined with its age, size and depth, creates a dynamic and resilient ecosystem that is, quite simply, the perfect home for the world's sharks. In the perpetual night of the deep sea, hunting is a challenge unlike any other. There is no light to see by, so sharks here have evolved a remarkable suite of senses to find their prey. Sight is not useless, but it is, well, different. Many deep-sea sharks have enormous, glassy eyes. These eyes are not designed to see colour or sharp detail. They are designed to do one thing very well: gather as much light as possible. They can detect the faintest glimmer of bioluminescence, the living light produced by many deep-sea creatures. A flash from a startled shrimp or the glow of a lanternfish can be enough to betray its location to a waiting predator. However, many sharks rely more on senses other than sight. One of their most powerful tools is their sense of smell. The ocean is filled with chemical trails, and sharks are masters at reading them. A single drop of blood or the scent of a decaying animal can be detected from a great distance. A deep-sea shark will slowly and methodically swim back and forth, turning its head from side to side to determine the direction of the scent. It can then follow this invisible trail through the darkness for miles, leading it directly to a potential meal. It is a slow, patient, and incredibly effective way to find food. Perhaps the most extraordinary sense that these sharks possess is their ability to detect electricity. All living animals produce very weak electrical fields around their bodies, created by the contraction of muscles or the beating of a heart. Deep-sea sharks have a network of special pores on their snouts called the ampullae of Lorenzini. These pores are filled with a conductive gel and can detect these minute electrical fields. This means a shark can find a fish hiding motionless in the mud on the seafloor simply by sensing the faint electricity from its heartbeat. It is like having a sixth sense, a superpower for hunting in the dark. Finally, sharks are also highly sensitive to vibrations in the water. Along the sides of their body is a line of special sense organs called the lateral line. This system can detect tiny changes in water pressure and movement. A fish struggling in the distance, or even the rhythmic swimming motion of a school of squid, creates vibrations that travel through the water. The shark's lateral line picks up these signals, telling the shark the direction and distance of the potential prey. By combining all these senses, smell, sight, electroreception, and vibration, the deep-sea shark builds a complete picture of its dark world, allowing it to become a masterful and efficient hunter. The menu in the deep sea is defined by one word: opportunity. Food is scarce, so deep-sea sharks cannot afford to be picky eaters. They are opportunistic feeders, eating whatever they can find. For many, the primary source of food is other deep-sea creatures. This includes a wide variety of fish, such as the bristlemouths and lanternfish, which are some of the most numerous vertebrates on the planet. They also hunt squid, which are common in the mid-waters of the deep ocean. Octopuses and large, swimming crustaceans like shrimp and crabs are also important parts of their diet. A surprising amount of food in the deep sea comes from above. This is known as marine snow. It is a continuous shower of organic material that drifts down from the sunlit upper layers of the ocean. It is made up of dead plankton, waste from animals, and other small particles. While sharks themselves do not eat marine snow directly, it forms the base of the food web for many of the smaller creatures that they do eat. This constant, gentle rain of nutrients is what sustains much of the life in the abyss. It is a vital connection between the world of light and the world of darkness. Sometimes a great feast arrives from the surface. When a large animal like a whale, a sea lion, or even a very large fish dies in the upper ocean, its body will slowly sink to the seafloor. This is called a whale fall. For the creatures of the deep, this is an incredible bounty, a windfall of nutrients that can sustain an entire community for years or even decades. Deep-sea sharks, with their amazing sense of smell, are often the first large animals to arrive at the scene. They use their powerful jaws and sharp teeth to tear away large chunks of flesh, gorging themselves on the unexpected meal. Because food is so scarce, some deep-sea sharks have developed incredible adaptations for eating large prey. The frilled shark, for example, has rows of sharp, needle-like teeth and a very flexible jaw. It can swallow its prey whole, even if it is quite large. The cookie-cutter shark has one of the most unusual feeding strategies of all. It is a small shark, but it uses its circular jaw and sharp teeth to carve out a perfectly round plug of flesh from much larger animals like whales, dolphins and big fish. It doesn't kill its host. It simply takes a bite and moves on, like a parasite, leaving a distinctive crater-like wound. The deep ocean is home to some of the most bizarre and wonderful sharks on our planet. Each one is a masterpiece of evolution, shaped by the unique pressures of its environment. One of the most ancient and strange is the frilled shark. It looks more like a sea serpent or an eel than a typical shark. It has a long, slender body and 6 pairs of gills with frilly edges, which give it its name. Its teeth are arranged in rows of sharp, 3-pronged needles, perfect for snagging soft-bodied prey like squid. It is a living fossil, a creature that has changed very little in millions of years. Then there is the Goblin Shark, a creature that seems to have come straight from a nightmare. It is a pale, pinkish-white shark with a long, flat, blade-like snout that extends far out from its head. Its most startling feature is its jaw. When it detects prey, it can thrust its jaw forward with incredible speed, extending it almost to the end of its long snout to snap up a fish or a crab. This remarkable jaw mechanism allows it to catch fast-moving prey in the dark. It is a rare and mysterious creature, usually found living near the seabed in very deep water. In the cold waters of the Arctic and Antarctic, and in the deep oceans around the world, lives the Greenland shark. This is a true giant of the deep, growing to lengths of over 7 meters. It is also the longest living vertebrate on Earth, with some individuals estimated to be nearly 400 years old. They are slow, almost lethargic swimmers, moving silently through the cold darkness. They are powerful scavengers, feeding on carcasses that fall to the sea floor, but they are also capable hunters, known to eat fish and even seals. Their flesh is toxic unless specially prepared, a curious adaptation to their extreme environment. Another fascinating resident of the deep is the viper, dogfish. This is a small black shark with a truly fearsome appearance. Like the Goblin Shark, it has a jaw that can be protruded a long way from its mouth. Its teeth are long, thin and needle-like, so long that they cannot fit inside its mouth when it is closed. They stick out, giving it a menacing, fang-toothed look. It uses this impressive dental hardware to snatch and impale its prey, primarily lanternfish and other small creatures that it hunts in the twilight zone. It is a small but formidable predator of the mid-water. The diversity of deep-sea sharks extends far beyond just a few famous examples. There is a whole cast of strange and wonderful characters, each with its own story. Consider the megamouth shark. This is a huge filter-feeding shark, one of only 3 known to exist, alongside the whale shark and the basking shark. It was only discovered in 1976 and has been seen fewer than 100 times since. It swims slowly through the mid-water with its enormous mouth held wide open, filtering tiny shrimp and plankton from the water. Its lips are lined with glowing photophores, which may help to attract its tiny prey in the dark. Then we have the sleeper sharks, a family that includes the aforementioned Greenland shark, as well as the Pacific sleeper shark. These are large, slow-moving sharks that are masters of energy conservation. They are found in cold, deep waters around the world. They are primarily scavengers, using their incredible sense of smell to locate a meal from miles away. They have powerful jaws and small, sharp teeth that are excellent for cutting and tearing flesh from carcasses. They are the quiet, unassuming giants of the abyss, playing a vital role as the ocean's clean-up crew, ensuring no energy goes to waste. One of the smallest and most audacious sharks is the cookie-cutter shark. Rarely growing longer than 50 centimeters, this little shark is a giant slayer in its own way. Its underside is covered in photophores, which produce a faint green glow. This light helps it to blend in with the light coming from the surface when viewed from below, a type of camouflage called counter-illumination. A small dark patch near its gills does not light up, possibly mimicking a small fish to lure larger predators. When a large animal approaches, the cookie-cutter shark latches on with its suctorial lips and uses its saw-like lower teeth to carve out a plug of flesh, leaving its signature round wound. Finally, there are the ghost sharks, which are not true sharks, but are their close relatives, part of a group called chimeras. They're also known as ratfish because of their long, tapering tails. They have large eyes, smooth skin without scales, and a single pair of gill openings. Like their shark cousins, many live in the deep sea. They glide gracefully over the seafloor on large, wing-like pectoral fins, searching for crabs and mollusks in the mud. Some species have a long, venomous spine in front of their dorsal fin for defense. They are an ancient and enchanting group of fishes, adding to the beautiful strangeness of the deep. Sharks are often misunderstood. They are portrayed as mindless monsters of the deep, but this could not be further from the truth. Sharks, including those that live in the deep sea, are essential to the health of our oceans. They are apex predators sitting at the top of the food web. In this role, they act as the doctors of the sea. They often prey on the weak, the old, and the sick. By removing these individuals, they help to keep prey populations healthy and strong. This prevents the spread of disease and ensures that the fittest animals survive to reproduce. They also help to maintain the balance of marine ecosystems. By controlling the populations of species below them in the food web, they prevent any single species from becoming too numerous and overwhelming the ecosystem. For example, if deep-sea sharks were to disappear, the populations of their prey, such as large squid or certain fish, might explode. These animals could then overconsume their own food sources, leading to a chain reaction that could cause the entire ecosystem to collapse. Sharks provide stability. They are the silent guardians that maintain order in the complex world of the ocean. Deep-sea sharks also play a crucial role as recyclers. As we have seen, many are scavengers, feeding on the carcasses of large animals that sink from above. This is an incredibly important service. Without these sharks, these large sources of nutrients might be buried in the sediment and lost from the ecosystem. The sharks break down the carcasses and release the nutrients back into the water, making them available for other deep-sea creatures. They are a vital link in the great cycle of life and death that keeps the deep ocean alive. Nothing is wasted in their world. For all these reasons, the presence of sharks is a sign of a healthy ocean. Where you find sharks, you find a vibrant and functioning ecosystem. Their decline can be an early warning sign that something is wrong. They have patrolled our oceans for more than 400 million years, surviving multiple mass extinctions. They are symbols of resilience, endurance, and perfect adaptation. They are not monsters to be feared. They are magnificent and vital creatures that deserve our respect, our admiration, and most importantly, our protection. The health of the sharks is tied to the health of the ocean itself. The deep sea may seem remote and disconnected from our everyday lives, but it is not. The oceans are all connected, and the health of the deep affects the health of the entire planet. The deep sea helps to regulate our climate by absorbing heat and carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. The life within it is part of a global food web that ultimately supports the fish we eat. What happens in the dark, silent depths has consequences for us all, even if we cannot see it. We are beginning to understand that this hidden world is both fragile and incredibly important. Unfortunately, these unique deep-sea sharks face growing threats. Deep-sea fishing, with its vast nets that can scrape the ocean floor, can accidentally catch and kill these slow-growing animals. Because deep-sea sharks grow so slowly and have very few young, their populations are extremely vulnerable to overfishing. They simply cannot reproduce fast enough to replace the numbers that are lost. Pollution, including plastics and chemical waste, is also finding its way down into the deepest parts of the ocean, harming the creatures that live there in ways we are only just beginning to understand. Protecting these animals and their habitat is a great challenge, but it is not impossible. It begins with curiosity and with understanding. The more we learn about the deep sea and the incredible creatures that live there, the more we will appreciate their value. By supporting scientific research, we can uncover the secrets of the deep and better understand the threats it faces. This knowledge is the most powerful tool we have for conservation. It allows us to make informed decisions about how to manage our oceans sustainably and how to protect the most vulnerable species. The fate of the deep-sea sharks and of the ocean itself is in our hands. Every one of us has a part to play. We can make responsible choices as consumers. We can support efforts to create large marine protected areas which act as safe havens for marine life to recover and thrive. We can work to reduce our impact on the planet, to curb pollution and climate change. The deep sea is our planet's last great wilderness. It is a world of wonder, of mystery, and of breathtaking beauty. We have a shared responsibility to be its careful and respectful custodians, to ensure that its silent, wonderful darkness continues to teem with life for generations to come.